An officer like this once has an accident that leaves him. He loses his sense of hearing and at the same time becomes trapped in a building with a very dangerous drug gang. Of course not. He knows how to report to the police or do anything because he doesn't have a weapon or a phone. I wonder what can he do now when there is a girl currently kidnapped in this building. This is what we will see in the video. Today's movie starts with an investigator and the police's name is Frank, and he sees Frank now. He talks to his daughter, Wissam, who we know is not. I live with him. The important thing is that Frank checks on me, his daughter, and he knows that very soon he will come to visit her later. Frank goes down to meet his friend, Detective Doug, by talking to him together. We know from their words that they are going to arrest a person named Jimmy because they accused of murder. And indeed, after a while, they arrive for the enamel that has Jimmy in it. And this is Jimmy. He is eating with his friends at work. So he goes out. Frank told him to come with them to investigate him, but Jimmy is not satisfied. So he keeps his mind white because he gets up and here Jimmy takes out his gun and fixes it. One of his colleagues at work. And everyone knows that they are. If he doesn't, he will kill him. But Frank won't leave. He doesn't lower his weapon. So he goes to the gym and runs away. Frank is running and running now. Frank prefers to run after him in the port to some extent. Suddenly, an Arab woman comes and hits Shimmy. But he remains. Frank foam hits the car's windows and falls. He lost consciousness and his ear started bleeding after a while. From all this, we see that Frank is he uses 2 earphones because what happened to him, it had a huge impact on Watano, and he no longer heard anything except using these headphones and what connects them. By phone, by the way, and he controls it through his phone. The important thing is that Frank goes to work. His daughter Sam is currently calling him and talking to him on video. First, you prefer Sam to train him on how to use sign language that he must of course learn in the coming period. Unfortunately, His Highness is supposed to. He will keep decreasing and decreasing, and for a certain period he will not even be able to. He listens with headphones, so he must learn his language. The idea remains that while Frank talks to Sam's daughter and problem happens headphones and he hears a very annoying sound in the Beville. The call is with Sam and he takes some of it and leaves to his doctor. It's normal to find a problem. In the hearing, her hair became wet for him. And now he should seriously think about leaving his job because listen, tell me a lot about the first time you got tired. And that's with he will soon lose his hearing completely. But Frank, the doctor knows that he will remain as he is working, so until he heard him disappear completely and leave and walk away a year at night. Frank went to the website. There was a crime. And this crime is that there was 2 young men were killed by liquidation, meaning all one of them hit him in the head. The important thing is Frank goes to the person who has these bodies, so he investigates him only while he was. Frank was investigating and was hearing loud noises all over him. A place here, whether it's the sounds of cars or anything else, and that's it. Frank was very upset. So Frank decided that he meant it will stop for a while, but after a few days it will be. Frank is sitting in a bar like this, and he comes there. Doug's friend knows that there is a girl named Ava. She says she saw the murder of the 2 young men, and her picture too. But there is a problem that this Ava is not. You hear and speak sign language, which is supposed to mean the translator who works with them is on vacation. So Frank and Doug's boss asked Doug. He takes Frank and they go to Eva and Frank. He talks to him in sign language. Then he stays there. Frank is upset and he and Doug are leaving now for the girl named Eva. Frank contacts her in sign language. I ask her for the video, his picture of the murder. Eva gives them the video. This is what shows the 2 who died. They are talking to 2 other people and I understand. From what they said, these 2 young men were dollars. They sell drugs and the people they talk to them. They are the ones who give them. They sell drugs and of course they are different. I mean, there is drug money. So 2, those who use drugs kill the 2 young men. They walk at this time after seeing Frank. The video users ask Eva what she was doing. They were on the street at that time. So Eva recognized them. She is a photographer and was photographing the moon at that moment. This means Doug and Frank don't believe it very much. But in general, they get over the situation and now Doug Eva knows that he will take her mobile phone because of the video on it. After a few days, she will come and sign her testimony. She takes her phone and Ava agrees and starts. Her phone is for Doc. Then Frank goes to the bathroom, to adjust his hearing aid. But in this face finds Frank at Eva's ointment like this. It is strange that addicts always use it. Anyway, Frank and Doug are leaving now. Frank tells Doug about the ointment he has at Eva's. They sold Doug that Eva's file was written. Eva is probably addicted to the ointment. She had this. That's why. And she was probably also in the street buys drugs. I can't imagine what it's like, she says. But Frank will leave so that he can go to his house, but while he was walking, he found his headphones are buzzing with the alarm sound that they will run out of battery. So now Frank takes out his mobile phone so that he charges it. But he can't find his mobile phone. He thought he forgot it with Eva and kept coming back. Take it again at this time. My friend, we will see a gang headed by a person named Lynch and Lynch. This remains the head of the gang, and we know that the gang, these are the ones who killed the two young men. And now he is coming. Eva tells him that she testified against them and he leaves. Now Lynch is Leva and he has one of his men's name is Angel and he prefers Lynch now. He talks to Eva to see if she confessed to them no. And on this basis he decides whether to kill her or not. At the same time, this brings Frank to his building. Eva goes out to her, and when he arrives at the apartment, Eva finds one of the gang named Mason is standing at Eva's door. So Frank continues his way, is as if he is not going to leave at all and is leaving from the back door, and he goes out on a ladder like this behind the building. He goes up this ladder until he reaches Eva's window and sees there currently. Angel and Lynch will kill Eva because they found out she confessed to the police, but Frank, he decides to defend Eva Fix against the net and enters her apartment, and immediately he takes Lynch's gun and causes Lynch and Angel keep shooting at them until Angel gets injured. And then takes Frank Eva. They go down the back stairs so that they escape, but they find one of the gang named Salif. They don't finish going down the stairs and enter for one of the floors of the building. At this time, Pincher Lynch and his men are looking for Frank before he works as a police supplement and gets their support. They don't even know that Frank doesn't have his mobile phone. Currently, his mobile phone is in Eva's apartment on Zakir Frank, and Eva are currently entering this apartment from. They hide in the building apartments and are asking now Frank Eva about any neighbors she has in the role here. So he goes to them and lets them talk to the police. But Eva knows that the role they are in is this. There is no one living there. So Frank's duck is very permissible. The biggest problem is that there is this monster. His headset is completely disconnected at Frank's house. He doesn't know what to do after a while. A long girl arrives at the place from all of this, and we know. She is a nurse and she is coming to treat the injured man's son indeed. This nurse appears to be Angel and Lynch. And you start treating Angel at this time. By the way, by chance Lynch finds Frank's mobile phone obscene. He knows that Frank like this will not be able to report it. The police and Ben Ali inform Lynch of all his men. They're looking for Frank before he arrives. To the phone and talk to the police about mentioning the police. At the same time, Ava was hiding in the same apartment she's hiding in. You will find two officers who arrived at the building. She loves to break up with them, but she finds these officers. They went to one of his gang members and greeted him, so he gave these officers are corrupt and followed the gang after that. Frank returns to Leva. And for your information, he left her and looked for a place to escape from. But he didn't. I didn't find anything important, Frank. When he returns again to Eva, I told him that two officers arrived here and that they also work with the gang in Frank's nerve house. Eva knows that they have to call the police. It seemed like Eva's mind was gone, and in the end she knew him. There is a phone in the elevator that he can use. Frank agrees and goes out now so they can go. He goes to the elevator and calls the police. And they actually go for the elevator and they use the phone there. I am in contact with the police, but not both. We hear that they do not know that the police did not respond at all. He thinks they replied and Frank tells them his problem. Then he takes Eva and they leave. Even though the police, I didn't reply at all now when they left and they find the officers in front of them. So he quickly threatens Frank with the gun he had and which he had already become. It is empty now of divorces, but they are not. They don't know that they are afraid of him. And he hears him running away and taking Frank. Eva goes to his apartment and here he stays. They are surprised by the injured Bangle, so they bought Frank. In the midst of all this, a nurse comes and confirms Eva and prefers. She tells Frank to put down his gun, but because he is a nurse, Eva was standing behind Frank, but he couldn't see them. Of course, he doesn't hear a nurse, and at that moment he knows Angel said that Frank does not listen. It is important that Frank, after a while, he finally looks behind him and sees the nurse. She pinned him down, Ava, and told him to come down his weapon, so he actually drops his weapon and here you just leave him. Eva's nurse takes some and then leaves. Angel wants to take the wire. He contacts Lynch and tells him that they are here, but they come. Eva hits him on the head, so he is with me on it. Frank and Ava take their gun time and go in a room to hide in. After a while, he arrives to pickpocket the apartment, but thank God he doesn't see Frank and Ava, because they run away and go to the apartment again. Frank and Ava then contact Doug via the video. Now says Frank to Doug that he has to bring a force and come and save him and Eva. So he agrees. Doug tells him that he is coming on the road yet. After a while, Lynch and his men arrive at the apartment. There is Frank and Eva, but they still appreciate it. They run away at the last moment and go to the apartment again. While they were in this apartment, he saw that Doug. He arrived at the building and it took Doug J alone without strength, but he does not care and decides he comes down to him quickly. And Frank, by the way, is not. He knows where to get off because his lynchmen are besieging everyone. The stairs. But after a while of thinking, come to Frank. A nice idea that opens the elevator door without anything. The elevator is standing and Frank is talking to Eva. He knows that they will jump to the other side of the elevator, goes down the stairs to the ground floor. Eva agrees and they are still jumping. But unfortunately, at this time, one of the officers comes. Frank is fixed in, and Frank Leva is jumping on the ladder. But he prefers to hit this officer. He gets really upset and throws water on the elevator. After that, Frank and Eva start going down the stairs. But Frank finds that the officer has woken up again and will strike. Eva is on fire. So Frank quickly jumps on me. The elevator keeps fighting with this officer. He literally breaks it, and then they both come down. For the ground floor, they open the elevator and they leave it. And as soon as they leave it, they find now Frank is one of Lynch's gang installing Doc. He goes to Frank, and here the man keeps telling him the gang will kill Doug or leave him. His weapon, so Frank was forced to mean my hand to him. His weapon. And here's something stranger than imagination of the man from the gang in my hands. The gun, and Frank writes here that Doug works with the gang originally and currently means they were working. This movie is about Frank to let go of his weapon, and they arrest him as happened now. Of course, Frank is shocked and doesn't know what's going on. It happens. The important thing is that now Lynch's men are coming. They take Frank, Doug, Eva, and everyone else and leave. It means Eva's apartment and how many men there are. Lynch also takes Eva to the room like this. They kill her with a heroin injection or a dose, extra drugs, but Frank stayed at home with him. Now Doug and Lynch know that they will give it to him. A lot of money, but on the condition that he forgets everything. This happened permanently, so Frank left him. They know that he must take his money immediately. Lynch agrees and takes Lynch, his men, and Doug Frank in the elevator, meaning they walk from the building. He writes down the money, but Frank is at the last minute. He ignores them and tells me about Doug, and he leaves. The elevator will then return to Eva's apartment again. He finds Eva unconscious, so he quickly comes. Frank injected her like this and gave it to her, and because of her, she excelled. Eva is finally almost fine, but he decides, Frank, they have to get out of here now. Accordingly, Frank sets fire to the apartment. He takes Eva, and they go to the place to hide. It is the reason for this freedom. By the way, they gather under the building and an ambulance arrives and the fire extinguishers and so on. And here almost all of them remain. Lynch's men run away so that no one can reach them. As for Lynch and Duke, they prefer architecture. Lynch is now going to look for Frank Waiva. By the way, he can reach a room like this. They hide in it, and at this time they throw at me. He saw acid in his face. Of course he couldn't see it. Anything takes Frank Eva, and he runs away, and they leave. The studio was in the building after a while. By the way, Doug is entering the same studio. Eva and Frank play music there with a voice so high that Doc literally isn't hearing anything. In the middle of all this leads to the place Lynch and the one who does not see because of the acid that he was thrown at him and kept shooting randomly, so he exaggerated to hit Doc. Then he turned to launch in. The place is to reach Frank and Eva, and indeed he reaches them, but Frank hits him and gets really upset. Then he takes Frank Eva, who is tired. Currently, the effect of the heroin injection is gone, with her to the ambulance so that they can treat him finally. Finally, the night ends like this. After a while of each, we see Frank and Eva attending the party. Sam's daughter Frank is his because she is his player. By the way, Frank is very happy with his daughter. Even though he doesn't hear her at all, he is happy. With its success, we know that Frank and Eva intend to. They continue their lives together after everything they have been through. This is based on the fact that she is exactly his daughter. And with Happy Point, this is the end of the movie. I hope it is. I just liked it. Peace be upon you.